Ladies and gents, and welcome to my humble abode, where I do lots and lots of crap. Okay, so welcome to part 2 of building this rotary subwoofer. Currently I am sat on the floor. In this video I'm basically going to do a little bit on starting the project, and I'm just going to go over the basics of what I've bought. So again, like I did in the last video, showed you guys what I bought and things, but I didn't have the full set of stuff. So now I've got my my amplifier has come. It's a reasonable size, it's really good. I haven't tested it out yet, but it should be okay. It's obviously it's brand new. It's got a couple of scratches on it where I've been just leaving it on the floor, but it should be alright. It's 360 watts, so it's not it's not overly powerful, but it's reasonable enough. It's 2-channel output. It's got a little built-in fan there. Here we go. 4 ohm 2 times 70 watts at RMS. 2 ohm stereo is at 90 watts. 2 channels at 90 watts, and 4 ohms at mono is 1 channel at 180 watts. But its max power is 360 watts. But yes, it is like I say, it's brand new. It's still got the protectors over the phono jacks, so I'll just put that to one side. And because that's got a fan, it came with these parts here. These are just spacers to mount that to. It came with some screws as well, which is a bonus. Again, got my the crossover with instructions. It's again brand new, already set. The subwoofer crossover is the main part that we're looking at. It's already been set to 40 Hz on the low pass, input modes on direct, and the bass boosters at level at 0. That can be adjusted when it's in use. Bass boost is set to 25 Hz, but it's not on any boost because the decibel level is on 0. God, I'm losing my head here. It's on 0 phase, 0 degrees phase rather than 180 degrees out, so that should be all right. And obviously the subwoofer levels on minimum. So again, that can be adjusted as and when. But I'll leave that to one side. I'll leave it out of the box because it doesn't need to be in the box anymore. But obviously, when I send this off to the customer, they'll have the instructions as well. Also, that came with screws and a spare fuse, so bonus. I also bought a switch, a case, and a switch. Just a normal, standard 240 volt plug switch. Not plug, sorry, light switch. So that will be connected to the mains in on this kettle plug socket here. So those two little cables here will just go straight into this switch. I think I'm still going to have to do a little bit of looking into this light switch business, but this is basically like for safety, because currently my rotary subwoofer, once it's plugged in at the wall, it's on. There's no like on and off switch, so I'm going to get those to have this one to have an on and off switch. So that's just for added safety. I've got some general standard 3-core cabling. Obviously 3-core cabling here in the UK is just, you know, well, 3-core cabling really. So there's a brown, a blue, and a yellow / green. So we've got yellow, green, which is earth, blue, which is neutral, and brown, which is positive. So that there's 10 meters of that, which is more than adequate. And what I'll do is instead of having the VFD planked straight onto the unit itself of the rotary subwoofer, this can be like external, again for safety, so that if the unit does fall over for whatever reason and can't be turned off, this will be like a reasonable distance, enough for the user to just turn it off from using the stop button. So I got those. My power supply came as well. This will power the amplifier. This is a 12 volts DC output power supply unit. It's actually designed for you know, like LED strip lamps and things, but we're going to be using this to power the amplifier. I've used this particular power supply on a number of occasions. I used this on my rotary subwoofer, and I've used it also on my my normal subwoofer that I use for my PC. So basically I got 240 in, and what comes out is 300 watts of 12 volts DC current, which is perfect for these amplifiers because they run from car battery voltage, which is 12 volts DC. So this has got enough connections to power three separate outlets, so that we'll be able to power the amplifier and the crossover quite happily. And it's powered, like I say, with it's got 300 watts output, so it's got more than enough you know, power to power these things quite happily without causing any distortion. So I'll stick that on there. Again, motor, 3-phase unit. I've already done the video on this bit, on this motor, so that was in part 1. The box of the power supply there. Again, same with the plastics. I covered this in part 1. But what I didn't cover was the rotor head. This is the new rotor head. It's actually a revised version of the one that I have. This is really good. I quite like this. When I bought this on the 31st, and it arrived, I think it was yesterday, but I had to go and fetch it from the post office. So, yes, it came fully assembled, which is great compared to when I had my other one, the original one. That one came in pieces and took me forever to figure out how it was put together. So I had to do some Googling on that. But this one came fully assembled, which is a bonus. But again, I've had to go through it with a screwdriver and you know, just check that things are tight and what have you. Although there's one thing that it comes with this. I'm not sure what this is. It comes on with it. I'm not sure what it does. I'm assuming it's for some sort of helicopter enthusiast job, but I don't know anything about helicopters apart from the fact that this part works, which is good enough for me. So this part I take off. I take this bit off, but what I do is where this this guide arm is, if you like, I tend to put it just underneath it, because this has got some grub screws on it, and if that's just underneath the guide arm, that will stop it from shoving the guide arm up too far. If the speaker does happen to have a lot of X marks and, you know, smash it upwards. It also protects these you know, these little control arms as well. So if you are doing this project, when you do get your rotor head or your rotor shaft, or whatever you want to call it, yes, you will need to check that these little control arms are tight, and this inside here as well. There is a little screw. You can see it just there. That will need tightening up real tight, as tight as you can possibly get it without rounding the head off. And you'll need to check that these little control arms here, you know, they're threaded in reasonably well to the little ball joint clips. But on this particular one, which is slightly different to the original one, I've got the two here to compare. So here is the one that I use on my rotary subwoofer. Okay, obviously you can tell it's completely different straight away, in the fact that well, it's a different shape altogether. But here in between the arm of where the blade sits is just a washer and a bolt that goes through this arm into the head here, and obviously again this part is directly straight into the arm of the blade holder, if you wish. Whereas on this one, again, it is in the same sort of position. The control arm ball joint does go directly into the blade holder, but in here, I'm not sure if you can see, in here there's a bolt that goes through. It acts like a pin, and these blade arm holders, they actually move. You can just there we go. Look, you can see it moving. There's like a rubber grommet inside there, and it uses that pin to pivot. I'm not entirely sure why, and I'm not entirely sure what sort of effect that's going to have on the on the actual outcome of the product. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I imagine it will probably reduce a distortion, maybe. I'm not too sure. I don't know why they've done that, to be honest. They've put grommets inside that to make it flex. It only flex, you know, a couple of mil, a reasonable distance actually. You know, once the blades sits in that, you know, because the blades are good 5 inches, you know, 5.5 inches long. That minor movement here will be quite a movement at the tip of the blade. But again, I don't know why they've done it like that, but they've done it like that. But other than that, it is quite well manufactured. To say, no offense, but to say it is Chinese, it's quite well manufactured. It's when it slides up and down the shaft, it's very silent, whereas the one on mine had quite a lot of spacing. So when the driver was, you know, resonating at whatever hertz stations, it would rattle a lot. So I had to make some adjustments to that, and that took me forever to get that to you know, to be quiet. I finally got it working properly. but I need to make some more blades for it, because that one's they're acrylic blades on that, and they just fall into pieces. But anyway, this shaft, I don't know why they've done that to these blade holders, but I don't know what kind of effect that's going to be gonna have. So I'm going to be quite intrigued to see what sort of outcome that will give. So on a side note, that's basically what they're basically all of the parts I need for this project to actually work. The only other thing that I need, is I needed some sheets folding, which I went to go and see a few people today. They're going to start folding the sheets and the sleeve for the motor shaft to attach the rotor shaft to. I saw a guy who could turn a piece of metal for me to do that. The only other thing with this rotor head was the fact that it took 2 weeks to get here, and not only that, it was missing parts. But fortunately, I have spare parts, because that's what every engineer should have. They should always have spare parts, because not every engineer is a good engineer, and some engineers like to break things rather than fix them. So they need a lot of spare parts. Oh, and the banana jacks. Can't forget the banana jacks. So what I have started doing, not sure if you can see that too well, because there we go. So what I've started doing is working on the subwoofer. So like I said in part 1, I'm going to get a blade. I'm going to cut around the foam of this subwoofer, and then I'm also going to cut at the I'm going to cut away at the basket here, so that will give me the plastic part of the subwoofer and the cone of the subwoofer, because these are two separate parts. I was hoping that it would be like the Sony subwoofer that I used, and that was just one single unit, but this has a pressed paper cone and a plastic like cap if you like on top of that. So I'm going to have to do some modifying to this to get this to actually work properly, I think. But other than that, I've very slowly made a start. This was brand new. I've had this probably, I don't know, since I did the last video, which was, I don't know, 5 or 6 days ago, maybe a week or two ago. Yeah, it's kind of lost its warranty now, but it should be okay, because an engineer always figures things out. So what I'm going to do, like I said, was cut away at the basket, which I've kind of started doing, and then I'm going to cut around the ring of this foam here. So if you bear with me 1 second, I will cut away at this basket. Okay, so I've cut all that up, and now I'm going to be diving into the realms of the unknown, because I'm dealing with a subwoofer I've not dealt with before. Also, that rotor head also came with some spare parts, which is great. So I have removed the basket, but not the cone of the subwoofer yet. It's probably a bad move. I should have probably done it the other way around. Cut this away first, but it'll be okay. Okay, so I'm gonna. Can you see that? There we go. I'm gonna cut the. I think it's quite thick. thicker than I thought it would be. I think this knife is blunt. It's taken forever to get around this. Oh, I've done it. Yes, it's reasonably thick stuff, that. So there's the thing. That thing. Get rid of that. So we are left with a mess. Okay, hang on, the cat. What are you doing? Get out. Come on. Out. Cats. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, as you can see, here is the cone, and gosh, it's quite slack in here. I think that might be due to the weight of this. So yes, what I'm going to do now is just cut the this plastic cap off here. So to do that, I'm going to cut this right down here. Ooh. Can you see? Bloody cat. It's going to take me forever. This is thick stuff, man. Just going to cut around here. I can shape it with the scissors after, so I don't need to worry too much about what the hell is going on here. Try and make it as straight as I possibly can. That seems like a task in itself. Only a little bit left to go. Whoops. I have to hold this knife funny because otherwise I can't quite get a decent hold on it. It really is thick, you know, hard stuff. I didn't think it would be that thick. Gosh, right, so we've got the cap off. We got it off, yay. Okay. Okay. So yes, we're going to need this. So what I'm going to do is Oh yes, that is much better, isn't it? Yes, yes. Right, bear with me. So, I can get this as low as wherever that lets me go, which means I need somewhere around that line here. Somewhere around here. Somewhere around here. Somewhere on that bit. Somewhere around there. Not sure if you can see exactly what I'm doing. Hang on. There we go. It's better, isn't it? Oh my god, this thing is so thick. My scissors can't cut this bloody stuff. I need it to be a decent, you know, sort of like. Get rid of this section here. Get off then. See, if I cut this too low, it's kind of fucked. But I'm sure we'll be able to figure something out, because engineers always do. Seems to be getting rather easier as we go along. Cat, go away. Okay, so it's not the best cut job in the world. I wouldn't do very well in a barber shop, would I? Okay, so that's kind of somewhere near, and you can basically just see what I've done there. So what I'm going to do now is, excuse me, I'm going to get this in the middle, and then I'm going to get my knife and just, if I can, I'm not going to cut it. Well, I am, but not yet. Oh, damn you. See that somewhere near. I'm going to cut this down very, very gently. into some kind of circle. There we go. It's still too big. Aha! I would say that that was more or less there. So, let's have a look. Oh, we've got gaps, we've got gaps. So, where does the windings come up to on that? Might be able to get away with just shoving that over like this. It's quite hard stuff. Okay. Well, what to do is just, because I've cut it slightly too low, you see, so all I'm doing now is just rounding the top of the voice coil over very slightly, not, you know, not loads, not enough to actually disturb it any. That's not rubbing, so it's a bonus. So now I just need to see that fits really well now. You know, there's still gaps there, but that's just gaps in the cardboard, and not due to the fact that it's touching the voice coil anymore. So I can get that glued on there with some resin now, but let me get rid of this, hang on. So put that there, but I need to get rid of all of this stuff here, so just turn this upside down. And then we get our tool. I think I'm going to have to use that one because when I actually build this rotary subwoofer, what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and keep this plastic cowling, just for, you know, aesthetic reasons. Looks makes it look a whole lot better with, you know, with a cowling on than with that one. There we go. So I'm gonna try and keep this, but it may make the gap to the you know, to the thread slightly too far. Whoops. This is actually magnetized on. You can see the ring there, black ring magnet. But don't need it. Yeah, I don't need it. So I can go there. But that that's made it too long now. Yes. Oh well, it looks like hang on. It's because of these tips. Well, it doesn't fit anyway, and it doesn't. I wonder if. Wish I had, like, you know, proper snips, or a pair of tin snips or something. That would... Yeah, thought I broke the scissors for a second there. So that seems to kind of done the trick, but I'll have to file that down. I might see to it. Might see to it. I'll cut these and see what happens. Ooh. No, it is still too big. Yeah. Oh, that's a shame. Oh well. Not really much I could have done about that. So well, they need tightening up. Or does that Allen key that they gave me fit in there? It does, yes. Then nice and tight. Yes, it is a dual voice coil driver. This one. So what I'm going to have to do is just link the two together, and drive it that way. There's a lot of space in this voice coil as well. That'll be fine. Yes, there's the hole in this one. It took me ages to find a subwoofer that had a hole in it. It took me very long time. I don't know how big that gap is though. I need to measure that. Hang on. Because I told a guy who was going to tell a guy that's 20 mil. I can make that. Yeah, that's 20 mil. That's fine. Because I'd asked somebody to make a sleeve for the motor. You know, this. Because the sleeve will fit onto the end of this motor, which will in turn hold the shaft, the rotor on the end of the motor, and the sleeve will make it adjustable, so I can get the right I can basically set the blades to a 0 angle, if you like, so they're not like twisted or at an angle, which is no good, obviously. You don't want it at an angle before it starts. In this motor there is a keyway. Remove the keyway. You don't need the keyway. So that can just be thrown away too. I'll leave you with this little gap to do when you get your sleeve. You will have a grub screw that you'll be able to use to make some adjustments in there. You can just slide it backwards and forwards and things. So get rid of that. Comes with a protective cover. Get rid of it. Don't need it. So now I have done that, the next thing to do is put these screws, bolts, back into this. Oops. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix some resin. I'm going to mix some resin. I'm going to stick this on top of here like that. Which angle should I do this at? Should I have it hooked up to the? Yeah, I think I should. Yeah. In which case, well, I suppose it doesn't matter, does it? So yeah. What I'm going to do now is obviously I've got to get these little edges sorted out here. You know, because I've just had to rip that to pieces really. So I'm going to, you know, get the hammer and knock those in. Get a file, sand them flat, file them flat. You know, that's not really that good, is it, to be honest? So get those the corners of the basket sorted, get some resin mixed up and stick that in there. I'll stick it here. Not that it matters too much, it's going to have a gaping hole in it in a bit. So, because the rotor will sit in here, well that'll have a hole in it and the rotor will go through that. And the base of this rotor here, the swash plate, that will sit on top of this, like that for example. So when the driver moves up and down, obviously the pitch of the blades will will move, obviously creating that, you know, that vacuum in the baffle area. So that's what I'm going to do now. Get some resin mixed, put that in there, get that sorted out, get rid of all this crap. And then wait for me other parts to come. Once my other parts come, all I'm waiting for is just the driver plate, which is just a plate that holds the driver like this, upright. Whoops. This is really quite heavy. It's heavier than I thought it was. Jeez. And then there's the motor mount, which will hold the motor behind the driver. It doesn't look too bad actually, you know, without that cowling on. Oh well, looks alright. Next things I need to do obviously after that is get my blades cut. I'll be doing those in the next video. I think actually I'll do the blades last. Just makes life a little bit easier. I need to get it put together first before I start doing other things, so I'll do the blades last. But in the next video I think what I'm going to do is obviously I'll be putting the motor mount onto the plinth. you know, and drilling my holes, mounting my amplifier and crossover, wiring, the power supply, you know, the motor. The next part is the biggest part. You know, getting it all mounted up, placed and set, and welding and things like that, getting that all sorted out. And then I'll make my blades after that. And then once I've done that, well, before I make my blades, obviously I've got to get this resined in, resined into here, so I don't, so it doesn't obviously fall out. So I need to get that sorted, which means that that needs to come to pieces actually. Or does it? That's one thing I've got to think about for next video. I don't think I need to, because these just pop off, you see. Hardest part. Not coming off, is it? Eee. Oh, for goodness sake, it won't come off because of that bloody thing. So I need to find something that's going to fit in there. I've got one upstairs. Get that bloody thing off. Yeah, so that's what's going to be in the next video. So I'm going to be putting it together, doing some wiring and things, and then building it all up, and then obviously after that I'll be testing it, seeing how it performs, seeing if anything, if I can break anything. Obviously if I break anything, try and work out why it's broken and how I can stop it from breaking. And then once I've done that, package it all up. Well, take the blades off of it, package it all up, and then send it to the studio that has paid me. So, thanks for watching, and hopefully in a few days' time I'll be uploading another video.